Pieter Cornelis Mondriaan, later known as just Piet Mondrian, was a Dutch painter born on the 7th of March 1872. Mondrian's work had enormous influence on the 20th century art scene, influencing the course of abstract painting and numerous major art styles and movements. These include colour-filled painting, abstract expressionism, and minimalism. He experimented with simplifying his art, reducing his images to non-representational forms, in a term he called neoplasticism. His most famous artwork, which we'll be inspired by in a minute, uses only 3 colours, the primary colours, red, blue and yellow. Additionally to this, he uses white as the absence of colour, and black to emphasise the structure of his paintings. In his work Composition with Red, Blue and Yellow, he has created a strong grid with perpendicular lines, and then selectively filled in the grid with flat monotone colours. This was part of his attempt to create paintings that represent universal beauty. Piet died in 1944, aged 71, but his legacy has lived on, as he has influenced the future generation of artists and architects and even some fashion designers. For my art, I've used the following tools: a pencil, a razor, a rule and Posca paint markers, but any sort of paint will work. I like to start out with the horizontal lines using the rule and the pencil. I'm using the width of the rule to set the width of the grid. This eliminates the need to measure or use complex calculations to set it out so it lines up with the page. I find that the A3 page looks good with the width of the ruler. Once you have your horizontal lines, you can start adding your vertical lines. This is where your artistic skill comes in. While you could copy the original artwork or mine, don't be afraid to break the rules and make your own. You do not need to only create lines that go down 1 level. You can create lines that go down 2 levels to create larger blocks. Keep adding lines until you're happy. It's all about the composition. You just draw the lines and then evaluate whether you think it's the right place. Once happy with the lines on the page, erase the lines that aren't right and the lines that go through larger blocks. Now it's time to add some colour. I'm sticking with red, blue and yellow like the original Piet artwork, but you can use whatever colour you like. I'm choosing to use Posca paint markers, but any sort of paint, pencil or any other medium will work. Try to stay within the lines. This is a key characteristic of Piet's work. He had strong perpendicular lines which gave the effect. If you can't stick within the lines, you can use masking tape. I haven't in this case, but I find they're more trouble than they're worth. But if you have a good brand of masking tape or any tips on how to use it properly, please let me know in the comments. Next, pick a different colour and fill in the next box. I find it best to fill it in from the largest box to the smallest box. This sort of dictates how the colours fit. I find that I like art with an internal logical consistency. So in this case, I can't have 2 of the same colours touching, and they have to be an even number of each colours on the page. Repeat this as many times as you like. Remember, white is also a colour, and in Piet's work he wasn't afraid to leave boxes white as an absence of colour or as a colour itself. If you accidentally go over the lines, do not worry, you can hide it in the next step. Now it's time to add the black lines. You can use a rule for this, but I'm doing it freehand because I found the rule smudged the pen. In Piet's work he has a strong grid filling in all of the lines. I haven't done this in my example, as I wanted to make it my own and I didn't feel it looked right with a full grid for my piece of work. So I've done the selective lines to indicate and pay homage to the original, but not copy it exactly. If you've gone over the lines like I did with the red block, you can use the black to cover up your mistake. I keep adding lines until I'm happy with it. While Piet's work favours straight lines and a rectangular form, I have experimented with adding other shapes, In this example I've added a circle by tracing round the pot. This creates a different feel to the artwork. Do not be afraid to make it your own and experiment. Remember, your art is your art. You can make it how you like it. This is the first in my Arts Basics series video. I hope to make more on this series. Although I don't have the drawing talents, I do like the abstract artists, so I'm going to hopefully work through them first. If you have anyone you would like to see me cover, please let me know in the comments. And if you'd like to join me on this journey, please subscribe.